To say hello, everybody, and welcome. I am so glad that each of you are here tonight. If for those of you that don't know me, my name is Amanda Heater, and I am the founder and owner of an amazing company called Across the Horizon Travel. And our motto is dream big and travel bigger. And tonight, I get to show you a journey that truly lives up to that promise. Kenya and Zanzibar, September 16th through September 25th, 2027. Before we get into all the details, I would love for each of you to just take a breath and imagine this with me. Imagine waking up before the rest of the world seems to be moving. The air is cool, the horizon stretches farther than you thought it could. You climb into a safari vehicle with a small group of people who are just as excited as you are. And then somewhere in that vast landscape, you see an elephant moving quietly across the plains, a giraffe silhouetted against a morning sky, or a lion resting in the grass. You're not watching a documentary, you are actually there. Now, imagine after that, the days are filled with wildlife, culture, beautiful lodges, lakes, and wide open landscapes. After that, you board a short flight and arrive in Zanzibar. The pace changes. The safari dust gives way to the beautiful Indian Ocean. You have time to swim, rest, explore, taste Swahili food, and watch the sun settle over the water. That combination is what makes this journey so special. It gives you adventure and restoration. It gives you moments that take your breath away and moments that let you breathe again. This webinar is not simply a list of hotels and activities. I want you to understand what the journey will feel like, why the itinerary was designed in this order, what's included, and how we will care for you from arrival through departure. I also want you to feel comfortable asking honest questions. If Africa has been on your heart, but you have wondered whether you could really do it, whether you would feel safe, whether the travel would be overwhelming, or whether the experience would be worth the investment, you are exactly who I created this presentation for. I'm also super excited to have Rama with us. Rama, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Rama is one of our trusted local experts in Kenya, and he's going to serve as our tour guide. Throughout our presentation tonight, I'm going to invite him in at several points to add the kind of insight that only someone like him that knows the destination can personally share with us. He can tell you what travelers often notice for the first time, what makes the Masai Mara feel different in person, and how the people and places of Kenya bring this itinerary to life. And I'm going to remain your host and walk you through the entire experience. Rama will add his local perspective, and at the end, we're going to leave time for questions. So feel free to place questions in the chat as we go. If something is specific to your personal travel situation, I actually invite you to email me afterwards so I can give you an accurate, personalized answer instead of rushing through it tonight. And I also want to say this clearly at the beginning. You do not have to decide tonight whether this is the trip for you. My job is to help you see the whole picture so you can make an informed decision. But if you already feel that pull towards Kenya, I ask you, please do not ignore it. Trips like this are not simply vacations we squeeze into a calendar. They become markers in our lives. We remember who we were before we went, what we experienced while we were there, and what we carried home. And tonight, I want you to listen for your own reason. Maybe you have dreamed of a safari since childhood, like myself. Maybe you want to celebrate a milestone. Maybe you're ready to stop postponing the places you say you will visit someday. Or maybe you want to travel with a group so you have both community and support. Or possibly Zanzibar has been sitting on your travel list and you never imagined pairing it with Kenya in one thoughtfully designed experience. Whatever brought you here, welcome. Get comfortable, keep your questions nearby, and let me take you through this journey. And let's see if we can get this to work to switch pages. Come on, you know you want to. There we go. Tell you what, technology, not my favorite. So, the simplest way to understand this trip is this: 10 days, two worlds, one unforgettable Africa journey. Kenya brings the wild, and Zanzibar brings the exhale. In Kenya, our experience begins in Nairobi and then opens into the landscapes so many of us have pictured when we think of Africa. We will have a close up giraffe experience, travel into Masai Mara, spend meaningful time on game drives, connect with Masai culture, and continue through Lake Nakuru and Lake Naivasha. Each location gives us something different. The Mara gives us expansive plains and iconic wildlife. And then Lake Nukara brings a different environment known for wildlife and bird life. Lake Navasha slows the rhythm with water, a boat ride, and a nature walk. And then we fly to beautiful Zanzibar, and the trip is going to change tones so intentionally. I did not want to design an itinerary where every single moment was packed and every morning feels rushed. And then people always say they come home from a vacation needing another vacation. I know I've been there. Zanzibar is going to give us that space. We're going to stay at the beautiful Cliff Golf Resort, enjoy a full leisure day, and have opportunities for island exploration, local flavors, water activities, and a beautiful sunset cruise. And that balance matters to me. A luxury journey is not luxury simply because of the price or the name of a hotel. Luxury is also having someone think about the pace for you. It is knowing that the transportation has been coordinated, that the experiences fit together, that you will have both guided time and breathing room, and that the group is not being moved from place to place without an emotional rhythm. The first half of this journey creates awe, and the second half creates ease. Together, they're going to allow you to be fully present rather than constantly managing logistics. And that's an experience that I want for you. So, group travel does not mean that you lose your individuality. So many people go, well, when I travel with a group, like I don't get to do what I want to do. But what's awesome about it is that there's going to be shared experiences. And in Zanzibar, that leisure time is going to allow you to have a chance to rest in a way that feels best for you. You may want to swim or sit with a book, enjoy the resort, take photos, talk with your new friends, or simply just do less. And I am so excited about this because you're going to get a chance to actually experience it. Rama, I would love for you to quickly introduce yourself and share what you believe surprises first time visitors most when they arrive into Kenya.
Thank you, Amanda. My name is Rama. I'm the managing director of Antideka Safaris. Antideka, that is a German word to mean discover or explore. And with this particular package that we created with my friend Amanda, in our local language, as per the safari or as per the industry, we call it Wild Beach. The Wild Beach is exploration of the wilderness for the vast distribution of wildlife. And then with the beach is about relaxation, just to recall or to remember what somebody has experienced in the wilderness. So it's all about the hardship and the challenges or the experience one has had during the safari, that the body needs somewhere to relax and recall what one has experienced. So Kenya and Zanzibar, these are just neighboring countries, but there is a need for someone to experience the two different worlds because you experience about the wildlife of Kenya and then after the beautiful resorts along the beach of another world. So the two combination normally is what I do encourage people. Not only come to Kenya to do safari, not only going to Zanzibar to do beach vacation. Just do a combination of this and see how the taste is. So,
Thank you so much, Rama. I appreciate that.
yeah, you're most welcome.
And this is exactly why I wanted to have him here with us, because you're going to truly understand this journey from the perspective of someone that is there locally. And so, as we move throughout the itinerary, I want you to remember that you're not being asked to figure out Kenya alone. You're going to have guidance, we're going to have transportation, accommodations, food, all of the things, including our local professional Rama, that's going to help us understand the rhythm of the destination. And honestly, that support is one of the biggest differences between dreaming about a trip and feeling genuinely ready to take it. So now I want to talk a little bit about what's included and what the investment covers because I want this to be super clear and transparent. So the journey itself is 4,699 per person. And your place is secured with a $698 non-refundable deposit per person, and monthly payment plans are available. I know that a trip of this size is an investment, and I don't want to minimize that, but my goal is to show you what has been intentionally packaged into this investment and to give you enough time to plan rather than asking for you to make the full payment at once. So, included in this journey, we have airport transfers, transportation throughout the itinerary, luxurious accommodations. I've seen Rama post many times. These accommodations are stunning, meals that are outlined in the itinerary, game drives. We get to go do a Maasai village cultural visit. We get to have lake experiences, a domestic flight to Zanzibar, the Zanzibar resort stay, sunset cruise, and select guided tours. So I tell you what, that was a mouthful. And for 4,699, that value is there's so much value packed into this. Plus, you get Rama's expertise. He's with us the entire time. So, if you tried to actually build this independently on your own, you would actually be researching multiple destinations, comparing safari providers. You'd be arranging all your airport and ground transportation, choosing lodgings, understanding the travel time between regions. There's just a lot that goes into putting something like this together. But having this package deal where you get to travel with a group, have a local guide with us, this makes it super simple and easy for you to just be able to be like, all right, I'm here. All I do is show up with the bags packed, and it's one cohesive experience. And that truly matters with an itinerary like this because there is a lot of movement through this. We're going through different landscapes, we're going to have transportation. It's a lot that goes into this. And when I say that this is designed as a luxury journey rather than a standard group trip, I mean that the care has gone into the sequence, the accommodations, the experiences, and transition from safari to island leisure. You guys, I have been doing so much research into this over the last couple weeks with putting together this presentation that I knew how beautiful Zanzibar is, but I was like, holy moly. It is a stunning place. And to go, first off, to even be in Kenya and to see the wildlife, and then to move over to this beautiful, beautiful property where you just get to relax and where there's so much luxury. This is a journey you don't want to miss out on. So I also want to distinguish really quickly, because I know this will be a question that's asked. The trip investment does not include international airfare. So this is the land package of the journey that we're going to be discussing tonight. And once you request your personalized quote, I will make sure that you understand the complete picture of the cost for flights, the cost for the journey, if you need traveler's insurance, any of those components that sit outside the package itself. I will make sure to share that with you. Now, I also want to talk a little bit of like um, the small logistics portion of this. Traveler's insurance is so important. And I strongly encourage travelers to protect a significant investment like this. And insurance options and terms can vary, and the right choice can truly depend on your circumstances. So I want to make sure that we address that when you do talk to me, and we can make sure that we get you the best traveler's insurance for you and your traveling partner. I also want to let you know monthly payment plans are available because I want this to become the dream to become your plan. And sometimes looking at a price like this can seem a little bit daunting, but I want you to understand we can easily build payments around this. So I have built payment schedules for so many people before. So do not look at this and go, okay, I can't afford this, because I guarantee you we can figure out a way to make this happen for you. All right, so let's move on to our first day in Nairobi. So obviously we will have some flights. The flight time is a little bit of a lengthy flight time, so it's about a day and a half of travel. But when we arrive there, um, it's about arriving well. And Rama is so good about making sure that we get rest time. So we're going to arrive at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. I probably butchered that name. I apologize. And then we're going to transfer to the Hilton Garden Inn. And after international travel, that first handoff matters so much because you're tired, you've been traveling, and you don't want to land in a new country and immediately begin trying to negotiate transportation, trying to understand directions, or wondering whether you're even in the right place. Our arrival is actually coordinated so that the group can move from the airport to the hotel and begin settling in. And there's going to be time for relaxation before we have an afternoon experience at the Giraffe Center. This is a wonderful introduction because it gives us an up close wildlife moment without a demanding full safari day immediately upon arrival. You're going to have the opportunity for a close up feeding experience and the kind of photographs that instantly tell everyone back home, I made it to Kenya. But I want you to notice the emotional purpose of this day too. We are not saving every meaningful moment for later. From the very beginning, you are welcomed into the destination with something that's so joyful and memorable. The Giraffe Center turns arrival day into part of the journey rather than a day that we simply endure. And then we're going to have dinner at the famous carnivore restaurant. Dinner is going to give us a chance to gather as a group, talk about our first impressions of Nairobi, chat with Rama, and begin forming the community that will carry through the rest of the trip. You may arrive knowing someone, or you may arrive by yourself, but either way, a shared first dinner is going to help everybody settle in. And this first day has been kept balanced on purpose. There is an experience to create excitement, but there's also room to recover from travel. I don't want everyone to feel like they have to hurry up and sprint the moment that they arrive. So we're going to ease in with comfort and with connection. All right, moving on to the second day. The second day, the safari dream actually begins to open up. So we are going to drive towards the Great Masai Mara, stopping at a scenic viewpoint along the way. Part of the beauty of an overland journey is watching the landscape change. You're not simply going to be transported from one hotel to another. You're going to begin to understand distance, geography, and the scale of this beautiful country. We're going to spend the afternoon exploring, and this, for many travelers, is the moment that that dream actually becomes real. You've seen the name Masai Mara. You've watched wildlife documentaries, or maybe you've saved photographs for years. You're going to actually see these plains open up in front of you, and you're going to realize that no screen, phone, computer, TV has ever prepared you for the sense of space from this experience. So, safari requires a lot of presence. You're going to be entering a living environment. And Rama is going to read the landscape. He's going to follow signs and help you notice what an untrained eye could easily miss. And that's part of the wonder. Then we're going to close the day with a sundowner party. And this is what I've seen Rama post about a lot. And this is what I'm excited about. So, Rama, do you want to share a little bit about the sundowner party and what that looks like?
Yes, normally we, with our lands and the experience that we have over here, normally it's good to end the day with a memory. And as per the sundowner, normally we don't make it at our property where we stay. We make it in the wilderness where we will have a different drinks that we will be enjoying as the sun goes down. That is a very wonderful memory of Africa. Just imagine having a glass of wine on the savannah grasslands. You, you just take a sip by sip as the sun goes down. This is something that somebody might be thinking about and feel how amazing it is. This is when we make the memories of Africa. So, guys, just feel free, and whenever you have questions, I'll be here to be answerable, as I'll be the one handling you on the ground part of it. Otherwise, Sundowner is part of the journey of safari. So we will be having different drinks. Normally, what we have in Kenya for the Sundowner, I can say some of the drinks are from, we have the local ones and we have the imported ones. So it will be a choice to choose what to drink as per your taste. We give the chances to you, but you are most welcome to this particular journey of experience about Kenya.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Rama. Day three is going to be another full day of safari, which I'm super excited about. We're going to have the whole day built around the heart of the wildlife, and we're really going to be able to see some of hopefully the largest animals that are in the world: lions, elephants, giraffes, zebras. And what's really cool is we're actually going to have a picnic lunch during this day, and that is part of the immersive rhythm. We're not treating the reserve like it's a quick excursion. We're actually spending the day inside the experience, and that creates room for wonder. This day is going to be so much more emotionally moving than what you expect, and there is something that's so humbling about being in a place that does not revolve around us. The animals are not performing for our schedule. The land has its own rhythm, and we become observers that can reset the way we see ourselves. So I say always to expect to dress in comfortable layers, and we're going to have packing guidance for you before departure because mornings can feel so much different from the heat of the day. So you want to have neutral, comfortable clothing, sun protection, camera, phone, all the things with you, but you do not need to become a professional wildlife photographer. The goal is not to prove that the trip happened. The goal is to live it. So this day is going to slow down even while your senses are fully awake. It's a day in the wild with enough time to take it in. Day four, it expands the journey beyond wildlife. We're going to begin with a Maasai village cultural visit, and then we're going to continue on to Lake Nakaru National Park. And then we're going to arrive at Lake Nukaro Sopa Lodge for lunch and leisure. And I believe that travel should help us encounter a destination as a living place, not just a beautiful backdrop. Kenya is not only its animals and landscapes, it's people, traditions, communities, family, and a present day culture that deserves our attention and respect. The Maasai village that we're going to get to visit will give us an opportunity to learn. And one thing to remember is that we're guests. We're going to be listening. We're going to ask respectful questions. And this is why local partnership matters so much, we're going to have a wonderful cultural experience that's not simply placed into a schedule because travelers expect it. It's approached with context and respect. Were you going to say something, Rama?
Yeah, normally with our country in Africa as Kenya, culture is considered because we were being exposed to different cultures, the Western cultures, but still with the Maasai culture, these are still the only among the communities by which are still living in that cultural life. And it's good to visit people at their native land, on their villages, just to learn about how people are living or how people have been living in their life. So just take a chance to come and experience this cultural life of the people. Over there, the life is totally different, not the life that we are living. I'm living in that different life, but for them, it's totally another amazing life. But life goes on, no matter how they are, where they are, but very appreciating for whoever will be visiting them, and also they appreciate to expose their culture, their living life. That's what I can say.
Thank you for sharing, Rama. I appreciate it. So for day 5, we're going to begin with exploration in the Lake Nakuru National Park, which is actually known for its wildlife and bird life. And then we're going to continue to Lake Navasha for a boat ride and nature walk. And then we're going to actually stay there on site at the Lake Navasha Resort. And this day shows a completely different side of Kenya. The visual language that we're going to see, I like to call it visual language, it changes from open plains to lakes, birds, water, and the green beauty of the Rift Valley. As you can see in the background, the beautiful mountains. And that variety is actually one of the strengths of this journey. You're not going to be spending every single day repeating the same type of game drive. You're actually building a fuller picture of the country. Bird life is not one of the first things on every traveler's safari wish list, but it often becomes one of the surprises. The color, movement, sound, and the variety of species, they add so much texture to the day. And Rama, being our skilled guide, he's going to help us notice what so many would otherwise completely overlook. Um, so I like to describe this as a softer safari day. And softer doesn't mean it's less meaningful. It just means the experience invites a different kind of attention. So the water's going to naturally change our rhythm. We're going to notice the birds, the shoreline, breeze, small movements. And that the day is going to contrast with the intensity of the safaris that we've done the previous days. Rama, what should guests look forward to during the boat ride and nature experience?
Okay, with the Lake Naivasha, that is part of the retreat that we do have in Kenya during our safari. It's an easy day to spend over there. And with the boat ride, I'll take you back to one of the stories by which normally many of the people have that dream to come and experience. We had a Danish couple by which they had a dream to come to live in Africa. And the part of the activities they used to go to visit Lake Naivasha for the bird life. And with this particular couple, you can just Google on your on your phones or on your computers the out of Africa. The story of out of Africa, Lake Naivasha is part of this particular story by which it was included. So in Lake Naivasha with the bird life, it's a great experience not only to see the animals walking, but how the bird live in the water, the aquatic birds. And with Lake Naivasha with the nature walk. Initially, safari in Africa began with walking safari. So coming with this idea is to show you or to make you experience how people experience the trips in Africa initially. People came over here to do nature walk, walking to the wilderness to experience the wildlife. In those days, vehicles were not yet brought over here. So people used to fly coming to Africa, use the ship to come to Africa, but with the safari, they used to walk. So for you, you'll be one of the people who experienced initially how the journey began with the safari. From walking, thereafter, vehicles were introduced that will do mobile safari with the vehicles or safari trucks. So you will have another theme of safari experience around this particular place of Lake Naivasha. Thank you.
Thank you, Rama. So moving on to day 6, that's actually going to be our transition day, where we're actually going to drive back towards Nairobi. We're going to stop for lunch. Then we're going to transfer to the Wilson Airport and fly to Zanzibar. And upon arrival, we're actually going to be just transferring straight to the Cliff Golf Resort for relaxation. I absolutely love this day because it's going to actually change the temperature of this journey. So you've spent a bunch of days, I don't want to say a bunch of days, 4 days of really just being alert, curious, energized by the safari. And then we're going to board a flight and arrive beside the Indian Ocean. The colors are going to change, the air changes, the culture influences change. And you're going to feel like you've entered a completely different chapter without actually needing to begin an entirely new separate trip. And this domestic flight is included because it protects the experience from becoming an exhausting overland transfer. So we're just going to have a quick domestic flight where we can land and have our transportation and everything taken care of to head over to this beautiful property. When we arrive to this property, the instructions are really going to be simple. Just relax. So you don't have to immediately change clothes and report for another major excursion. You can settle into your room, look at the water, walk the property, eat, rest. Let yourself just arrive and be. And this is where the design of this trip is going to protect you from the typical travel fatigue that so many of us get. If we continued stacking activities on top of activities without pausing, the experiences would begin to kind of compete with one another. And by allowing the transition to breathe, Zanzibar actually feels like a reward and a renewal. So at this point, I want to ask yourself, I want each of you to ask yourself, which half of this trip first captured your imagination? Was it the wildlife or was it Zanzibar? And what is super awesome about this is that you don't have to choose. You get to experience both. Day 7 is a full leisure day at the Cliff Golf Resort. And I want to actually defend the value of an unscheduled day because it is often the first thing that people think that they can remove from an itinerary. But rest is actually not wasted travel time. It's what is going to help you stay present for the rest of the journey. After you've had international travel, several days of safari, changing lodges, early mornings, new experiences, all of these things, your body and your mind are going to need space to just relax. So you get to swim, enjoy the resort setting. I mean, look at this photo. Look at that water. Look at the pool. You can just sit, relax, read, have conversations with new friends, take photographs, or you can just do nothing. Take a nap on one of the lounge chairs. And some people are going to be like, I want to go explore the entire property. But then others, like me, I'm going to sleep late and just move slowly and enjoy the day. And I want to remind you that both of those are super valid ways to experience the day. Luxury for me includes a permission to actually stop while you're traveling. We actually live in a culture here in the US that often turns vacations into performance. We count how many places we've seen, how many things we have been to, how many photographs we posted, how much we've squeezed into a day. And Zanzibar is actually going to invite us to experience vacation in a different way. It says, "You came all this distance. Now just be here." And this may be the day when group friendships really deepen. On highly scheduled days, conversation happens between the activities, but on a leisure day, people linger, people relax, share stories, laugh about moments from the safari. Community is going to grow in this open space. And if you prefer time alone, go right on ahead. You are more than welcome to sit in your room all day long or sit on your balcony. I want to encourage you not to overplan this day before you arrive. Just let your energy guide you while you're there. Bring a swimming suit, a book, sunscreen, and your curiosity. This is the exhale part of the trip. On day 8, we have an optional Zanzibar exploration where you can take advantage of an optional tour of Zanzibar's Lost Paradise. And this is where the highlights of it are the island's spice heritage, Stone Town, Prison Island, a Swahili lunch. And this is an optional tour. So if you're like, I still want to sit back and relax, you do not have to be a part of this. This is completely optional. This allows people to have different experiences on this day. But for those who want to participate, this day is going to add history, culture, flavor, and a deeper sense of place of Zanzibar. Because Zanzibar is not just only a beach. Stone Town actually reflects layers of African, Arab, Indian, and European influence. The island's spice history has shaped its identity and economy. And food actually becomes a way to understand those intersections rather than simply something we eat between activities. A Swahili lunch is going to let us experience local flavors and context. So when you travel, taste can become one of the strongest memory triggers. Months later, a spice or an aroma can actually take you back to a street, a table, or conversation. I've had that happen so many times for me when I smell. There's a specific smell for this resort that was my first huge family vacation with my kids. And every time I smell that smell, it immediately takes me back to that amazing time. And that's exactly what you're going to get to experience on this optional Zanzibar excursion. So, Rama, what is, from your perspective, why do you think pairing a Kenya safari with Zanzibar actually works really well with travelers?
Anyway, when I compile this particular package of Kenya and Zanzibar, people do think about visiting Maldives. And here in Africa, we have the African Maldives, that is Zanzibar. The same experience that people have in Maldives is the same that we do have over here, the atmosphere. And only the culture of the people that what differs, but the environmental experience is almost the same. That cool and chilling atmosphere is what people look after. And with Zanzibar, not only staying at the beach, relaxation, there is a lot to do. We have kayaking, we have jet ski, of different activities that one can do that will just give him a memory of not only going to Maldives, but Africa has its own experience when it comes to beach relaxation. So with Zanzibar being an island, having the blue crystal water, this particular place is amazing. This is the paradise of Africa. So don't only dream about it, but just let yourself experience what is over there. I myself, when I want to relax, that is the only place that I can go and have peace of mind when I do relax. Not only relaxing in my room, but sometimes I give myself an experience out. So, with the experience of exploring Zanzibar, coming to the Spice Island, this is one of the part that you should, because people do take a lot of spices, but they don't know where they're coming from. So learn about what people produce for their economy and what makes your food to taste how it tastes. So food experience. That's why we have the Swahili lunch in Zanzibar Island. This is to experience how people use the spices to produce the meal over there. Not only meals from different cereals, but still we have prepared Swahili food by which they give you a taste by which you have never experienced, and you love the meal over there. Stone Town is one of the oldest towns in Africa. We have a lot of history about the foreigners coming to Africa. So Stone Town will give you the back history of the people who visited that particular island. With the prison island, this is the name prison. It gives you the picture of what happened in the past with the slave trade and everything, and how people fought for their independence that give them the freedom to what they enjoy now, the fruit of what they did to protect their land. Thank you.
Thank you, Rama. So, day 9 is actually our final day, and it's been designed to feel celebratory. So, there's an optional excursion to go to Nakupenda Island, and Nakupenda means I love you, which feels so fitting for a place that's associated with clear water, sand, and the kind of scenery that people picture when they dream of Zanzibar. So, depending on the final excursion arrangements, guests may actually have opportunities for kayaking, snorkeling, diving, but this is optional. So, pricing will be based on how many people decide to join us on this. The day is going to close, and this is included with a sunset cruise. This is included for everybody. And I love the symbolism of ending this way. We're beginning with an arrival in Nairobi and a giraffe experience. We've moved through the Maasai culture, the lakes. We went across on a flight, domestic flight. And then on our final day, we're going to gather on the water and watch the sunset over Africa. And this is going to be a moment where everyone is just going to simply enjoy it and look at the sun. I have heard that the sunsets in Zanzibar from other travel advisors that have been with Rama on this journey, that this is the most beautiful sunset they have ever seen in their life. And this is going to be a way for us to gather together and sum up the entire journey into one amazing feeling. You're going to be able to remember those crazy early mornings, the laughter that's in the vehicle, the first animal sightings, the meals, the people, and of course, the beautiful ocean. And this is a natural time for celebration. Some travelers may be actually celebrating a birthday or retirement, personal milestone. And this is the time where we're going to get to really celebrate together and really just make it a formal occasion of like, we're celebrating, we did this together. And I want this to be a day where we create memories and have beautiful photographs, but I don't want it to be like a big production of any sort. So you don't need to have like the perfect outfit or have a professional pose to deserve the moment. I want you to come as yourself. And as the sun sets, I imagine our group recognizing that this was not simply just a vacation. It was something that they entered into and allowed themselves to be surprised, to learn, to rest, and to connect. And that's what the final day is going to hold. It's going to hold joy and gratitude and the feeling that we truly dreamed big and traveled bigger. Day 10 is our final farewell. And so we're going to transfer to the airport and we're going to all just have a time together of just reminiscing on our transfer back home. But this can actually feel very emotional. I know anytime that I end a big trip that I've been on, this can be an emotional time, but just remember that these are people that are going to become lifelong friends. And so I want to encourage everybody during this time to just have gratitude and to connect with people on social media. And I always say that travel does not automatically change us, but it can give us the conditions where change becomes so possible. It removes us from the familiar routines and it requires us to have a sense of wonder. And Kenya is going to remind you how large and alive the world is. And then Zanzibar is going to remind you that rest is not something that you have to earn. You're going to enter into this room with a group of strangers and leave with people who actually have understand and been with you through a chapter of your life. So, I want to talk about next steps. If you are interested in joining us, which I highly recommend because it is going to be a small group and I'm excited for this, please send me an email to Amanda at acrossthehorizontravel.com and put in the subject line Kenya Safari. One thing that I am offering for anybody that is on this call tonight and decides to join us on this trip within the next 24 hours. So that would be 8 p.m. Central Time tomorrow night. If you say, I'm in within that 24 hours and send me that quick email, Kenya Safari just saying, I'm in. I am actually going to provide the optional excursion in Zanzibar where we do the Spice Island and the Swahili lunch. I am going to include that. So give that to you complimentary. I will cover the expenses for that just because you decided to step in and say yes to this trip. Like I said, there is very limited space. We are limiting this to a small group of people. We're looking at 20 people or less for this group. So as soon as that's filled up, unfortunately, we will have to put you on to the next year. We plan on doing this every year. I've told Rama that I want to make this a yearly thing. So if you're interested, please send me an email. Does anybody, I want to open this up. Does anybody have any questions, any concerns? Please feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions you'd like to ask either myself or Rama.
Hey Amanda, it's Susan.
Hey,
Hey, so any visa requirements to travel through Africa that we have to do like in advance or apply for or like, because the reason I ask is because we took a trip through London and then we had to do some visa we didn't know about, because we weren't staying in London. We didn't think we had to do it. So just curious if there's any paperwork like that.
so entry requirements constantly change. And because we're not going until September of next year, this is something that I closely monitor, and this is a perk of traveling with a travel advisor. That will be something that I will be relaying 6 months before. Obviously, I continue to check and let people know if anything changes, but that will be something that I will also handle for you for any visas that need to be obtained before or on our way to Kenya. I do know that there are some vaccinations that are required and those do change as well. So I will be updating you as time goes on and what those vaccinations are and making sure that we all have them before we arrive to Kenya.
Okay. And then the other question, husband's more of a photographer, like any recommended like camera lens size, like how close do we actually get? Like, I don't know, we need like a massive like zoom lens, but like any
You get pretty
recommendations?
close, right, Rama?
Yeah, with the photographing, you can we I can recommend because we have animals normally don't know about us, but we know about animals. You might find that when it comes to photographing, you might have a distance uh, experience or distance sport by which with your phone you cannot manage to capture, but when you have a camera with a good lens, you can capture. So I do request when you have a powerful lens, it's okay, bring it. But also we do come close to animals by which you can make even with a phone a perfect uh, snap or perfect catch of the photo. So here, when it comes to photographing, you have to consider the distance far from your position and the close. Close, when I mean close, it means that you cannot touch the animals, but sometimes even animals come beside your car. So that is when you can use your phone to photograph. But from a distance around 200 meters, you can use your phone. But when you have a good camera with a good lens, you can make a nice picture with that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So yes, bring a strong lens, but there are times where they're going to be right by our vehicle or walking right past us to where you can literally just like snap with your phone. I plan on purchasing a nicer camera to zoom in, so I do recommend for Terry to bring that because he's going to get the best
Mhm.
pictures with that.
Okay, and then my last question, just because I'm a girl, what about the bugs? Like, are there like scorpions going to get in our shoes or like, just so I can be prepared? I don't want to scream and scare all the animals.
Brahma,
Okay, with that, normally Africa is rich in everything, not only wildlife, but also with insects. But lucky enough, insects, what I can say that can access our cars, we have the tsetse flies. Tsetse flies, normally with you, because you're not used with this particular environment, tsetse flies normally they bite, and when they bite, normally you feel that always to scratch yourself. Anyway, with this, what I can recommend is that the best way, it's not that they do always. Normally, it's just an emergency that you can find such kind of experience. Otherwise, it's safe. With the scorpions, you will never come across a scorpion unless where you will stay. But lucky enough, the people working in the rooms, normally they have different pesticides by which they do spray the rooms that you cannot have such kind of insects. So whenever you're out, you are in, you are safe with insects. It's not that everywhere you find insects. No, they just come as
Yeah, don't
parts
worry.
of.
Where I live, we have scorpions in our yard, so
ugh,
Yeah.
I'm
gosh.
not scared of them. I just don't want them in my shoe.
Not, never had such kind of. It's not easy. It's not easy.
So I don't think we'll
So
have
you are
issues with
safe.
them being in in your shoes because the accommodations we're in, Susan, are very luxurious. We are going to do like a little bit of quote unquote like glamping experience, but Rama has us in great accommodations. So we're not going to be like in like some like crazy place where there's a bunch of bugs hanging around. I don't think you're going to have an issue.
No, I just figure I should ask, so I can be prepared.
I love it,
I don't want
Susan.
to scare all the animals.
Any other questions from either Susan or Terry? All
Okay, so
right.
when you one last question, sorry. When
Yeah.
you say layers, it's still warm though, right? So like, or is it like sweatshirt weather in the morning layers? Or you just mean like have some longer sleeves and then something you could like, roll up or like a light windbreaker or
Rama, can you clarify? Because we're going in
Yeah, yeah.
September.
Okay. With that, normally, as for the weather over here, normally is sometimes is not sometimes, but at that particular time, it will be hot. So when it's hot, normally we say that we have it's a freestyle experience. You can have your shorts, you can have your t-shirts. At least you feel cool. Don't wear clothing by which you feel uncomfortable sometimes. But you have to feel free that you can have your safari suit, shorts. Long, I don't advise because it might be hotter that you feel exhausted you by yourself. But when you have a t-shirt with a short, or you have a shirt with a short, that is good. But I do advise also you close shoes. It's very important. Don't wear the open shoes because, as you said, with the insects, such kind of, you might be walking but having an open shoes, and you find that there is a thorn which can come through to your foot. So I do advise to have closed shoes. That is very important. But with the clothing, cool clothes is better than to have clothing by which normally the after will feel, it make you feel exhausted. We do have different clothing over here for safari, but I know over there you do have the same. So I do recommend safari suit normally gives that feel that I am in this particular environment. You feel comfortable that I match with the environment when I'm out over there. In the resort, it's different, like not like when you are out into the wilderness. So that's why I advise. Even in the resort, we have also like going for a dinner. You know what you can wear for your dinner, but you have to think about the climate. It might be in the evening, but it's still warm. So cool clothes normally it's advisable. When we will be communicating as per the time, so that we know how the weather is, how the climate is. Because nowadays, even the weather is unpredictable. You might find that you were expecting rain, but it doesn't rain, or it rains very little, not that heavily that you knew in the past. So things keep on changing, but it's good that when you come, you have maybe something that you can protect yourself from the coldness, from rain, but still, the cool clothes that we wear when the climate is cool will be good for you. That's what I do advise. So the earlier the better. Clothing that will protect you from coldness, clothing that will keep you cool when it's cool weather. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rama. I appreciate it. All right. Any other questions?
Nope, we're good
I
over here.
did. I'm sorry, Susan. What'd you say?
Nope, we're good over here.
Awesome. Terry, you've been so talkative. Just kidding. So I have dropped the link in the chat. Please disregard the portion where it says submit payment via Venmo. I am in the process of updating it where you can put through your payment directly through that. But if you decide to sign up tonight, if you're like, I want to get signed up, I will collect the information from you and then get an invoice sent over to you to lock in your deposit. Like I said, I am offering over the next 24 hours that the whoever signs up within those 24 hours, you are going to get that Zanzibar island optional excursion included, which I'm excited to go on. And so I know everybody's going to want to join in that, and that's going to be included in there for you, complimentary if you sign up. So Rama, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I truly appreciate you, and I'm so excited to experience Kenya and Zanzibar with you. And thank you, Susan and Terry, for hopping on. I know we had a few others, but they had to leave early. So thank you, and I hope you all have a great night.
Thank
You
you so
too.
much. I'm
Thank you.
happy. I'm happy to hear from you, and we will cooperate to make it a memorable experience about Africa. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone, for joining this particular conference, and you are most welcome to my country, to my world.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Rama.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Rama.
Bye,
Have
everybody.
the best.
Bye.
Bye bye.